Welcome everyone. This is Apex Season 4 here with Third Party Gaming. We're going to show you some of the cool new stuff going on and the new character, some of the new stuff that came out with the new season. So, if you haven't heard from us before, feel free to send us a sub and a like, as we do greatly appreciate as we're just kind of starting out. So, in the words of Michael Buffer,
ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Alright, so fun times. Now the new season does have the new character, Revenant, as I think we all anticipated and wanted. Now, it was a nice little interesting right before the season they had that switch with Forge, so I think we were all pretty excited because a lot of people had observed that it could potentially have been him, so it was interesting to see them do the old switcheroo. Anyway, so we're just going to take a quick look at some of his abilities first. So his first ability is kind of passive, now one that we will give you an example of later on in this video, but basically that you can crouch, walk faster, and can climb walls higher. Next one is silence, so basically you're just stopping people from using their abilities, which is actually super helpful in the middle of a fight, especially with a Wraith who's trying to get away, or a Gibby trying to throw down an arrow storm or something like that. And the death totem, which we will again give you another example of, but it is super helpful because it basically gives you 2 lives in a sense. Little OP, but it can only be useful really if it's played well. So first we're going to go back into firing range, because that is by far the easiest way to give you an example of most of these abilities. As of course in a game you might not have that opportunity very often if you don't see anyone, or if it's just super hectic and you don't have a chance to set that totem at the back, or if you haven't gotten it yet. So we'll just start with the firing range, because that's super easy and the dummies don't fight back. But you can make them fight back in case you didn't already know that, which we will give you an example of as well. So first thing is the crouching. As you can see right now, our Revenant, he's going pretty quick. To compare that to someone else and how that might look, I'll quickly go to Mirage here.
You missed me? Of course you did.
So that probably looks more normal, although to kind of look at them, it's hard to look at them side by side. So, as you can see, fairly slow. Kind of looks a little bulky, like feels bulky, slow.
Wondering about an afterlife.
This one's much faster, as you can see. So, it certainly comes in handy, especially when you're crouching, when your hitbox is smaller. I can only imagine that people who like to crouch when you're getting shot at, which I always find super annoying, because then you miss half your bullets, but anyway. Climbing. So, climbing is pretty good. I would give it probably double of what normal people can climb. Even when he's getting slow, like slowing down to getting to his max, he still pulls you pretty far. Easily can climb into the second floor of a building, probably even higher. So we're going to try and find a spot here to give you an example of how high he can climb. So I mean, even these walls, normal legends I think would probably struggle unless you're having a running start at them. We're going to go up into these little rocks here to give you an example, because there's a ton of little nooks and crannies all over the map that you can kind of hide into. So if you can get really good at climbing, you can be one of those people that just traps people in corners. So right there you see that he was slowing down, but he does pull you up pretty far. Now we're like halfway up to the banner here to my left there, and that is a silence ability. It's got a pretty fair distance. It's no Bangalore smoke grenade by any means, but it does throw pretty far. And I'm not 100% on what the range, like radius is, but it does seem to affect a pretty significant vicinity anyway. So it does regenerate fairly quickly as well. Now, I did want to take some time to try and test out the regenerative thing, as I've only played a few games with this guy and have only done it a few times. So just to kind of know exactly what you're getting people into, because when you throw one down, you have to say to someone, I'm throwing this down, so you make sure they actually hit it before they go into the fight. And I've had a couple of buddies be hesitant to do so because when you come back, you do come back with a fairly low amount of health, specifically like 20 points. So anyway, this is a Sentinel gun, the new sniper rifle. I personally enjoy the fact that they changed all the sniper rifles to one ammo type, because it makes it so much easier so that you don't have to compete as to which kind of gun you want to use based on energy weapons. Like, I like the Havoc, but I also like the triple take, but now you can use both. This thing does do quite a bit of damage, 130 to the head. Easily breaks someone's armor. A headshot, of course, will break any kind of armor, purple or not, because it's only an extra 100 points, right? Now with the new sniper rifle, you can actually charge it with a battery, specifically, which does extra damage to the shield, specifically. Now again, as we said, the shield on anything is only ever going to be 100 hit points. So if you're not hitting them in the head, because they're not standing still like that, you can still do quite a bit of damage. So even in the chest, just like that, you still hit them for 100. So when you're shooting these things, like, you would expect them to have a fair amount of accuracy, right? But as you can see, as the hip fire, like the no scope, it's not perfect by any means. Even when I get closer, it's not perfect. So this thing is pretty insane, especially if you can get headshots. The better you are, of course, the more damage you're going to do, as it does reload fairly quickly. It's also super loud, just like the longbow would be. Although, to be fair, it is bolt action. Even from a distance, this thing seems to do quite a bit of damage. So I just wanted to try out some of these farther targets to see how much the damage they would actually do. 65. I mean, that's pretty much what you're hitting from a closer range. I think it was like 66 or something like that. So, and that was just like in the chest. So even with a couple of those shots and, you know, switching to a secondary, like with an R99 or something like that, like, you would just destroy someone. So I can definitely see how people are going to start ordering those batteries, although they are already fairly hard to come by, so it'd be certainly a choice on when to use them. Now, at this point, I did want to show you what that totem pole would be like, but as I did this, I was like, oh no one's going to kill me. But one thing that I did notice here is that in the bottom of the screen, you can see a circle that's kind of telling you how long that you'll remain a shadow. If you don't die in that time, I assume you just return to your normal state with whatever health you have at that time.
Maybe.
Now, to kind of test that one out, I wanted to be able to die, right? And the easiest way to do that is just turn on the dummies so that they'll shoot back at you. If you don't already know how to do that, we're going to quickly show you right now. So you need to get up to that top rafter, and this little tunnel here is that if you were coming out of the original tunnel, it would be all the way to the left. So first mistake I made is that you can't have any guns on you. You need to drop all your guns. Easiest way to get up there is with Pathfinder. You look straight down, crouch, and change legends.
This time will be different.
And that sound is how you know that it worked.
Why can't I just die already?
This guy's got some crazy intros, especially when they're thanking and welcomes. He's like, I'm not thanking you, and stuff like that. Like, this guy's voices and stuff at Nightmares are making. Alright, so the dummies were definitely ready for me, and I didn't have any guns or anything on me. As you know, we had to drop everything, so we're going to try that again. These dummies tend to have like fairly good aim too. I swear they're always trying to get in your face, especially if they think you're about to die. Like, I swear these guys, even when you have the gold knockdown shield, these guys will come first. But then other times they just run away. It's like I don't understand.
Shields are low, recharging them.
Okay, so I've got my ultimate. Basically what we're testing here is to see how much it got silenced by someone else in the server. We're going to be testing how much health or shields that you would come back with if you were a shadow. As you can see, I don't even have full shields or health, and I haven't even turned into a shadow. Now I'm a shadow. Seems like I got hit and then I instantly came back. So the 20 points that I had left and the shields, whatever shields you had at the time, seem to have remained. So it seems like as soon as you turn into that shadow, it starts taking your health points and ignores your shield. And then when you come back, you have whatever shield that you started when you went into the shadow mode. So that was basically it. Thought that was pretty cool. I mean, anyone who plays any character well can make them super dangerous. This guy's definitely got that going with the climbing and the silencing of other people's abilities. Last thing, I just thought we'd just take a quick look at the new battle pass. So it's got some cool stuff. A couple of people I talked to didn't seem to think I had enough. I can kind of see what they're coming from, but it did have some cool stuff. So as soon as you buy it, you get 3 skins right off the hop. They're all kind of on the robotic side, and you could say, but I guess that's kind of the theme. You do get a legendary bot 5 levels in, so definitely worth it in that sense. So almost immediately, there's some pretty cool concept art, skins, some new emotes going down. Revenant's actually got his own, and for any of you crypto users, there's actually one for him as well. I would say that it's his first, right? So they did finally put one in for him. There's only 2 other ones that I can recall in this video that you'll see that were new emotes. 3, I should say. One for Octane, which you'll see in a second here. One for Caustic, where he, you could say, mimics Mirage and he rides one of his gas canisters. Kind of weird. And then there's a new one for Wraith. Wraith is kind of all over the place in that one. She's back and forth in the air, so kind of seems like, because before you were kind of stationary in a box and you were moving around in that little area. Anyway, this one seems to be much more extravagant this year. So, new skin from Wraith. There's one from Caustic in here. A lot of the theme from the backgrounds that you're going to unlock seem to be relevant to that video that you would have seen, like the trailer when he comes in and like murders that guy and his family. Loba, I guess the girl, is supposed to be in the next season or something like that, so we'll see if that comes true. But I'm excited to unlock those because they're supposed to have those stories and stuff, right? Like as you unlock them, like underneath, if you go into your inventory, usually there's some sort of a story or some kind of a note about the scene. So I'm excited to see what they kind of tell, hopefully more about Revenant and the lore and the story behind all of these characters, because even in the background,
I can't wait to make their acquaintance.
nice, even in their background you can see it looks like he's in like an assembly plant of the Marvin factory or something like that, and I guess that's to associate him with them, because as we all know, he's got that Hammond on the back of his hand. But how similar is he to Pathfinder in that sense? Like, are they made from the same, like not only just the same company, but are they made in other ways similar? So I guess we'll hopefully find out more about that. Watson actually got a decent skin this year. More banners and stuff. A fair amount of stuff here. The Revenant story seems to be one that they're really like leaning into. Hopefully, I hope that breaks into a whole nother, I guess, area where they can try and exploit some of these stories. And when I say exploit, I mean I would just like to see more. Maybe they turn into a mini-series online, like cartoon, hand-drawn, like more stuff in line with what they've already kind of put out, but just longer. We all want to know more, and we're all there's a lot of spectating and guessing at what's going on in some of these stories, so I really just want to know more, and I think everybody would probably have a positive reaction to these things, because we don't know anything about them, so anything they create we're going to be happy with, I think. And the videos and the trailers that they've already come out with have been pretty cool. So, just as we quickly go through this, I want to quickly note that we changed our name recently. We were previously Fantastic Forum Gaming. We are now Third Party Gaming. We just did a quick change because it is a new channel, and it seemed like a good time because the previous name was not easy to find or spell, and there were similar channels as well that had similar names, so this just seemed like a good time. Finally, I just want to say the last skin in the battle pass for the new, I believe it's the Flatline. Yeah, it's one of the reactive ones. So a couple of seasons ago, you got the end of the battle pass, which was, I think, the second season. It was the R301. It's kind of like that in that sense. Like, it's reactive. The more kills you get, like, different things start happening on the gun, which I'm actually so pumped to get. But that is our video, so I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, let us know. Last thing you'll see is just his finishers. He's got some pretty dope ones. That was, I guess, the one from the trailer. But, of course, we always like to hear from you guys. If you got any suggestions or anything you want to see about the new season, let us know. Also, we have our other guy, Robo Plays, coming in to do a Trail to Apex Predator. I'm going to do my best to join him in that as well. But we do appreciate your support, each and every one of you. Please let us know if you have any suggestions, as we do listen, and we'll be reading those comments. So, thanks a lot, guys, and